Did you know that you can send the output of your asynchronous Lambda execution to another AWS services using Lambda Destination? Whenever you asynchronously call a Lambda function, Lambda plays this event into a queue and sends back as a success, and a separate process reads this event and triggers your Lambda handler code. So this is how the asynchronous call will execute. With the Lambda destination, you can send the invocation record of your asynchronous Lambda execution to another AWS services. There are few different destinations you can configure in your Lambda. This will be triggered whenever your Lambda execution failed or success. You can configure your destination as standard topics, standard queue, Lambda function or event bridge. You can also configure a dead letter queue as well as your Lambda destination. Suppose in my example, I have configured under the asynchronous invocation retry attempts as 2, and I have also configured the dead letter queue along with the Lambda destination. Here for simplicity, I have configured only one Lambda for both success as well as failure. But you can configure different services for success and failure. So in my case, when SNS will trigger this message into a Lambda, Lambda will try to process this. If it is success, then it will automatically call my destination Lambda, and in case the Lambda execution failed due to some reason, Lambda will retry this message 2 times as per the configuration we have did in retry attempts, and still if it's failing, then it will transfer that message into dead letter queue as well as it will also trigger the failure Lambda. So difference between the message which you received in SQS as well as the destination, here in dead letter queue you can see this entire payload, it's my SNS request payload, and here in destination you can see the request payload as well as the response payload. So here you can see the exact error message in case of failure along with retry attempts 3 and some additional information in request context. In case of success, this response payload will contain your Lambda response object in case you have written. So these are the different services which are support the asynchronous Lambda execution. You can configure this many different AWS services in destination config. So note here SNS and SQS should be type of standard, not FIFO, first in first out, as currently FIFO is not supported. SQS also does not trigger the Lambda asynchronously. In case if you have configured SQS with Lambda, Lambda will start pulling the message from the SQS, and whenever a new message available in SQS, Lambda will trigger your function code and it will respond back as a success or failure. In case of success, it will delete this message from the queue. This is a synchronous process rather than the asynchronous process. That's why the destination will not work in case of SQS. So that's all I wanted to cover as part of this video. If you wanted to learn more on Lambda destination, or if you have any question in AWS topics, you can post the comment in below section, or you can join my WhatsApp group. Thank you for watching this video.